I'm Chosen Architect, and this is All the Mods 9, and today we upgrade our storage and also upgrade our base. Hopefully you guys are ready. Now back into some more All the Mods 9, let's take a look at what we did last episode. We ended up getting ourselves all the modium, and we set up a quarry to quarry out a bunch of materials from this dimension using a filter card, which was pretty darn cool. But today, now that we have our resources, I want to upgrade our storage. But before that, I want to start on the build. That's right. I found a fantastic location. However, it's going to require a little bit of work to be just right. Now, just over here is the perfect location. I think this spot has the potential to be phenomenal. We have all of this, and I want to go with this sort of organic build anyways, where things sort of expand off. We have a central location, but everything sort of expands off into its own areas. I do have a little bit of a problem though. There's a crab infestation here. These are cataclysm crabs, and they are crazy looking. Just absolutely ridiculous. I might be able to cheese them here, but yeah, there's a couple of them, and it's weird that they're here. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind this is. Look at this. They straight up shoot projectiles. But I do want to use a builder to clear out this area. Notice there's a lot of water, and this is going to cause a lot of problems if I don't solve this issue. Now, one of the ways that I can do that is with another builder. So what I was thinking about doing was setting up a builder and then using a shape card pump for this with a fluid trash can. So what this should allow me to do is I can set a shape like a box that is solid, and I can say 64 by 64 around the area here. And let's just go ahead and say, I don't know, we can set this to like 25. No offset, nothing like that. It's just going to cover the area around it. And all we got to do is give it a little bit of power with the same setup that we used last episode. And it should fill all of this water with dirt. And then we can use the builder to clear a little bit of this area out. Now, this isn't a crazy amount of power as this is underground. These are actually not producing quite a bit, quite as much as our other ones are producing in the mining dimension. And this is only producing about 28 or 30 RF per tick, but that's going to be plenty fine for this task. So let's turn this on, and we should start to notice over time, this water is going to start disappearing. That is within the range of this area, and that is going to be perfect. I need that water gone, as it will be awful if I start to use the actual shape card to clear this area, which I'm going to have to turn this, by the way, into a actual clearing quarry for what I want to do. But yeah, it would be a pain if I start to clear this out and it doesn't actually clear the water, and then the water flows everywhere, combines, and just turns into a mess. It would be awful. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of this area? Do you like this? Do you think this is going to turn out pretty cool? I don't know. I looked at this and I was like, oh, it has light spaces at the top, which definitely will help a little bit with me not feeling so like down in the dumps whenever I'm playing around in the world. Yeah, I feel like having access to the sky just makes you feel better. I don't know. It's just me. Now, while this is running and clearing out the water, I do want to talk about what you guys have been mentioning in the comments, specifically in relations to the Mine Colonies mod. I probably won't be playing around too much with the Mine Colonies mod. Now, if I was streaming this, that would be a totally different story, as it is, well, not so suited for YouTube content, I would say, as it's going to be a lot of me sort of micromanaging an entire community. And well, I don't think it lends too well to the full progression of the mod pack. So I'm going to probably be foregoing that mod, typically like I have in the past, but I have played with it. So if you do want to see it back in MC Eternal, I did sort of dabble a little bit in that mod. And that's ultimately when I realized this is going to be really hard to make videos on because a lot of it sort of happens off camera. Now, hopefully it doesn't ruin your experience of this playthrough, as I am going to be playing with a ton of other mods, and I would much rather spend my time doing that than developing an entire colony of people that will eventually get dysentery and die. No, that was just a joke, but they are pretty needy. Man, I tell you what, these crabs are something else. They are quite tough. They don't do a whole lot of damage to me, but oh man, yes they do. Never mind. They do quite a bit. but their animations are phenomenal. The Cataclysm mod is quite the mod. So now that the water is cleared out, we can now start to clear out the area entirely. That means everything, dirt, stone, every material that is around can be cleared out. And now the way that I have this set up is inside of here, inside of the shape card that is set to clearing, we can take a look at this. And I have it set up just like this. It's a 45 by 45, and then it is 64 blocks tall. And I have it set to a cylinder that is solid. Now you may think, well, won't that cause issues with the blocks that are near the builder? And I believe there's like a 3 by 3 cube around the builder that actually will prevent it from harming itself. So you don't really have to worry about that or the wind generators that are hooked to it. So with this in mind, whenever we display this, we can see how much of an area this is going to start to work on clearing. Now I also have this set up, and we can go ahead and toggle this on with the setting that it was at. Let me go ahead and make sure this is redone. It keeps resetting itself. I want this set to 20. And then if we display that, it is now set to 20. If I undo this, make sure this is set to 20. There is kind of a bug with RF tools and the way it's handling things. But with that, I should now start to see it is quarrying. It's going to use what little power I am currently giving it, which is not a lot. It does say not enough power. But it is still working. Like, this is not enough power for it to run at full potential, but it is still enough for it to technically work. It is going to take quite a bit longer. And we're going to see all of the items sort of building up in here as it works block by block. Now, what I need to do is, well, probably make more wind generators. I think what I'm going to do is also grab another generator, and let's take a look at some other power sources that we can potentially work with. Now, we do have the generators from the Generators Galore mod, and I kind of want to ramp this all the way up if we can. We have plenty of redstone, so this should not be a problem, but I think I want to ramp this all the way up to the Ender generator, and it possibly has the ability to run off of Ender pearls, if I'm not mistaken. And to get there, we have to continuously upgrade, for example, to the iron generator, then to the gold generator, then to the diamond, and then we go up to the obsidian. And are we missing obsidian? We are missing obsidian. But after obsidian, then we go to the ender pearl generator, and this is going to produce like 300 Fe per tick, which is quite a bit. Aha! And the ender generator does, in fact, it can run off of ender pearls. So that's perfect. And it looks like it lasts quite a while running off of ender pearls. Ah, our mob farm is actually working. So this will surely help to speed up our process here. So I'll just drop this in, and that should definitely speed up how quickly we're breaking blocks now. The cool part is we can also see it functioning. It's slowly but surely clearing out this chunk. Now, while this is clearing out the chunk, I actually want to start switching our storage system over to refined storage. Now, there is a reason why I want to go into refined storage early on, and that is its simplicity. It is super simple, but later on we are going to possibly need to transition or at least add a system for applied energistics. And the reason is for the All the Mod Star, which I do want to go towards, with the All the Mod Star, we are going to need a ton, and I mean a ton, of processors. And they're specifically from Applied Energistics. So we have to get into that mod eventually. And not only that, Applied Energistics in 120 is amazing. I will give it credit. It has come a long ways. It has to be now one of the best auto crafting mods out there. It is really, really good, and now has its own in-game documentation that you can access very similarly to how you access creates. But for now, we're going to be dabbling in refined storage. And this mod is really, really simple to get set up. Some of the major things that I'm going to need for this is just going to be quartz, which we smelt to get the silicon. And then we also need slime and string to be able to make the binders. And then we just need our basic resources being iron, gold, and diamond. And then on top of that, to expand and to be able to make other things, we are going to want to make the construction and deconstruction. So we're also going to need a little bit of glowstone. But outside of that, that's really all you need early on to get started in the refined storage mod. Well, that is also a little bit of time, because you are going to need time to smelt several of these things. Now, what's the major reason for switching over to refined storage from the storage that's getting us by right now? Well, it means all of these storage barrels right here can be compressed down into a single disk if I really wanted to. So it can all go down into a single drive. Now, I want to mention this because I think this is overlooked with the refined storage mod. You have these disks which can store thousands of items, right? But did you know that these storage blocks also act as a disk without the need of a disk drive? So you could technically make these storage blocks and just use them. And there's no channels or anything you have to worry about. You can just connect as many of them as you want. And these blocks function exactly the same way as putting this inside of a disk drive. The only benefit to the disk drive is you can fit 8 basically, or I think it is 8. Yeah, you can fit 8 of the disks, individual disks, into a single block. So in reality, you can have 8 of these blocks worth inside of a single block. And yeah, that's just a little tip in case you did not know that. Now, the quest here is going to drag us along the route of actually making the virtual storage, which is the disk drive, not the blocks. But like I said, keep in mind that those are a possibility. But I do also want to move in just the disk drive, as we can just fit way more in a single spot, and we can make this very, very clean and simplistic. And boy, do I love a simple and clean setup. Now, look at all this stuff once you actually make the drive. This is all the stuff that unlocks, which leads all the way into infinite storages at some point. It's so good. I love the fact that you can eventually have an infinite storage with refined storage, and all of its add-on mods can make refined storage very powerful. But like I said, I still think no matter how powerful some of these extra mods are in refined storage, Applied Energistics still has it beat when it comes to auto crafting. For one simple reason, it's the blocking mode on the pattern providers. Man, one could only hope for a blocking mode that didn't require redstone. So after making my grid, I do want to go through here and complete some of these quests because I don't know if they're going to just hand over some drives or not. Doesn't appear like any drives, but we do get processors and things like that. So this will be pretty nice. Oh, and it does look like as soon as we make a storage housing, we have a chance of getting a 64K storage part. So this right here will definitely lead us into potentially getting a really nice storage disk right off the bat. So we just need to make a housing, and this is why doing quests can be really rewarding. Perfect. We have a housing now, and big money, give me a 64K. We got a 1K storage part. I mean, to be fair, it is, yeah, it's a 90% chance of getting a 1K storage part. But we do have this now, and I think we have all of the stuff technically to craft a 64K drive, and that's going to hold 64,000 items. Now, I think if I remember correctly, to make a 64K, you need 27 1K storage parts, and that's the number I typically like to remember because that means I can just quickly craft that many of the base, and then I know I will probably have enough to get all the way up to the 64. So here we go. This should be a 64K storage parts, and now we just need that housing, and we have everything we need to probably move everything we have over to our storage here. The cool part is to power this is not going to be too bad at all. So all we have to do is put the drive bay down. I'm going to place my crafting storage to access my inventories. And then I'm just going to place the controller on top. And this is what receives the power, is the controller. So on top of the controller, I'm just going to use a basic solar panel, similar to the solar panel that we have here, except this is the basic version, which is just a step up. Really doesn't require anything more than just iron. A little bit more iron than the base, and we have plenty of iron. So I'm going to place this right on top. I can jump up here. Jetpack's a little too crazy. So there we go. And that is more than enough, as this only requires 4 FE to run. 4 RF per tick, basically. It's really hard for me to get away from the RF per tick, as that's just what I've used for so many years. But FE per tick, same thing. Forge energy, all that good stuff. But as soon as we put the disk drive in here, I think that does raise it a little bit. Yes. So it does go up by 1 by having that disk drive in here. So we have a 64K storage. That means we can start unloading all of these things into this singular storage. And I think one of the best ways to do it, while probably not the best for servers, is to just simply start breaking the storages. Yes, breaking the storages. It's going to go in my inventory. And then what I want to do is just start moving it all and letting my magnet do the work, right? So I need to break these. I think I have an axe. So let's go ahead and an axe real quick. and that should allow me, oh, this is another good reason to switch. This actually has a problem with apotheosis things in storages. So some of these things I can't even remove out of the storage. So yes, it's going to be really nice to get out of this. So yeah, this is going to be a mess, but it is very nice that I can just sit here and just send all of my items in super quick by simply breaking all of those storages. This area looks so much different now. Don't be worried though, if you had a supporter sign up, I will be getting the supporter signs put back up as soon as we move to the next area. Boy, I tell you what, things are really starting to come together. This is starting to actually clear out, and I'm really liking how bright it is, but it also leads to these darker areas, which is going to be very, very cool. I'm just ready for this builder to finish so that way I can get to building. Oh, I'm so happy it's actually done now. So what I want to do is, believe it or not, I want to outline this whole section while I have the display, the support display open. That way, it's going to make it a little easier for me to know exactly where this edge is at. This is a problem. If I accidentally right-click, it is going to break the whole thing. So let's see. I've got to be very careful, I guess, on how I display this. Yes, I'm going to have to like literally work my way around it just like so. Now, ideas are currently sprawling in my brain right now. I am just full of ideas. I really want a steampunk feeling base. But I think I also want it to be natural feeling as well. And I want it to blend into the fact that we have clay here, but also keeping this giant open middle section. And to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend in some moss. So I'm going to use a builder's wand here, and I'm going to make sure we have moss sort of sprawled out with the dirt. And then I'm also going to get some grass, and that's going to be blended in. And I should be able to random place by selecting random here. And then whenever I go to build out, we will notice that this is going to also place down moss. So later on, I'm going to kind of destroy some of this and also get some clay veins, but I also got to get some verticality going in here. So I need to build up some sort of spire as well. So that's going to be something I definitely need to work on. And I want to make sure to match any, so that way whenever I do this, you can see that this now sort of randomly kind of giving us a nice random palette, which is going to look really, really good. So I've got most of this sort of structure built out, at least getting the space go, but little did I know, I've made myself a Evilcraft blood farm and a fish farm at it. It's actually kind of cool. Now I went ahead and just added some grass into this. So this is all going to start to transform into normal grass, sort of mixed with the moss. But right here, I want to add splotches of clay. So I've made the exchanging gadget. I have the keybind set to G to open up the settings, and I just want to select surface. And I'm just going to go through here and just sort of add like splotches of clay, very similar to how you would have these splotches of clay every now and then through these areas. So I'm going to have like a rather large area here. And the cool thing is I can kind of just hold down right click, and this will let me sort of shape out an area. And yeah, all of these blocks are just getting exchanged, which is pretty nice. Now with just a little bit of bone mill finessing, things are going to look pretty good once we get all of this like moss sort of grown in. So we can like patch these big areas of moss by simply clicking on it. Look at that. And then that is just going to expand. And I really think it fits. Like it really sort of blends everything together. Oh, having a little bit of grass everywhere. Very, very nice. Now it's currently nighttime, and I think one of the best ways to light up our base is going to be using a feral flare lantern. And I should be able to place this directly underneath here. And I also have a mega torch, but underneath our entire system, I want to place this down. So I'm going to place this lamp down here. And then what we're going to notice is everything is going to start to light up that is nearby. This is a very nice way to light up your base, and you don't have to place ugly torches everywhere, which is definitely worth it. So now that I have some sort of a semblance of some sort of base, let's go ahead and move our mob farm. Now, how do I go about moving something that has a lot of stuff involved with it? Well, Direwolf 20 actually has us covered here, because in the newest version of Building Gadgets, aka Building Gadgets 2, we now have a cut tool. That's right, we can cut pretty much our entire base, and then you can paste it somewhere else. That means all of our mob farm can be picked up and moved. So I've just charged up the new cut paste gadget. And this thing has a couple of options. So we have a paste mode and we have a cut mode, and there's also some cuts, rotates, some anchors, some things like that. So what we can do is actually select a couple of points. So we can select, for example, this by right clicking and then shift right clicking to select a point. And then we can just simply cut. And whenever we cut this, it's going to actually cut. So we click this button and now it has cut that from the area. And then all we have to do is simply go to paste mode and then right click and it pastes it back into position. But notice it actually took the blocks with it. Well, we can actually do that with the entirety of our mob farm. So in order to do this, I'm going to grab a corner over here because we're going to have to do a little bit of configuring to fully get this to work. But I'm going to click this point to select the first point. And then I'm going to select this point right here to be my second point. But notice it's not 100% in the bounds. To be able to get it 100% in the bounds, we are going to need to open up the settings menu. And then this is going to allow us to sort of change that bound that we just applied. So I'm going to have to increase the size, and I'm going to increase it to where it actually covers pretty much the entire area. And I can hit confirm to be able to see what it is actually selecting. And that means it's going to select the dirt and everything else and all of this other stuff that's out here. So if we get all of that up and running, looks like it should be fine on the height. I do want to make sure that it is low enough, which I think it is. If we're selecting the dirt, that should select everything big enough for our redstone. There we go. I can move that over. And then I think this should be perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the entirety of this thing. Because I did want to kind of grab most of the slab. Let's go ahead and see. Maybe we can increase this a little bit more. Pull that back. Increase this side. And there we go. Now we've definitely got most of it in the range. Okay. So all we need to do is copy this. And this will even work with like create things that are like actively working. That means this storage will get picked up. All of these things. My experience obelisk, just to make sure, even though I know it should carry everything, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put like one level worth in here. And it's actually 32 levels. But we're going to put that in there just to see if it does carry over the experience. It should. But now we just simply cut. And you're going to notice everything fading away because we just cut the entirety of our mob farm. All of the blocks, all of the data associated with those blocks, all of the redstone, everything is now in the palm of my hands. Yes, I can now take this over to our base, which I have a kind of a location set up, and just paste it, and it should just work. So I'm thinking this area right here is going to be perfect for this, but it's going to be hard to paste it in. So I'm going to select the anchor, and now it's anchored into place, and we can actually see the outline. And what I should be able to do is I should be able to change the position of this and get it just right. Now, I noticed this is exactly where I want it. So I want it facing this way, but I want it pushed back a little bit. So I'm going to open up the settings again, and I'm going to push it back a little bit. And let's see, is this roughly where I want it? I think so. I could push it down, I think one more. I think we can go down blocks. But the cool part is I don't have to worry about the blocks that are in its position because those blocks are going to get voided. So yes, all of the blocks that it is basically occupying right now will be replaced. And we should be able to just do this. And keep in mind, those blocks will be voided. And it does warn you here. So let's go ahead and do this. Make sure we're in paste mode. And then I right click. And we should have ourselves a mob farm. This is just too cool. Too cool. And look at it. It's immediately starting to work. Just like that. And the cool part is all of my redstone should still work. Just as if we had just picked everything up and moved it. Now, is our levels with us? Yes, it even carries all of the levels. So that was something that I didn't really have to worry about. It just worked. So it doesn't get any cooler than that. And there we go. We now have our mob farm, functional and all, back at our new base. Now that's something you don't see every day. It's interesting that in this lush caves biome, that the Cataclysm bosses can spawn inside of the cursed dirt. Interesting. Oh, wow. I just noticed because we're in this lush cave, we get actual cave creepers spawning in here, which is just giving us raw resources like gold and diamonds. What? I can even move this. Yes. Let's go ahead and cut all of our villagers. Feels kind of weird doing this, but it should work. All of these villagers' data, everything like that should be stored and saved, including all of the piping, everything that we had set up, and I should be able to just paste this over in our new location. So here we go. We'll just simply right click and it's going to replace all of the blocks that are nearby and just paste it all right in. That is so cool. This has got to be one of the coolest tools. It's perfect. Now, yet again, I'm using one of my favorite things, the builder, and I'm going to be using it to actually clear out this little section right here. And I think this is going to be like our ore processing area. And it is going to be very close to all of our other stuff that we have set up. Notice that I'm slowly starting to build out what is going to be walkways to all of these areas. And I think this is going to be pretty cool once this is all said and done. Let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up. And with the supports enabled, I can tell exactly where this is at. I'm going to place my bin on top and then fire it up. And it should start to clear all of this out. Yep. And it shouldn't take too long as it's not a super large area. Yeah, look at that. That's only one generator. It's just because it had all that built up power. But if I go ahead and add this one, keeping in mind that this won't mess with a 3x3 cube around this, we can just continue to make this a little faster. And there it goes. That's pretty quick. So, I mean, at the moment, I'm just sort of getting by with some of the early materials that we have. And it's only going to get better from here. And once we get some infrastructure space available, getting into mods like Mechanism and many others is going to be way easier. Now, you know what? It just appears like everything is coming together. Now, I am still missing copper. Once we have some sort of ore processing up and running, copper is going to be what I'm going to be putting all around the base. We're going to have a very steampunk looking setup while also maintaining this sort of lively green lush feeling of these caves. And I really, really like this. Now, this is the area where I'm going to have a lot of machinery that's going to be happening very, very soon. But I just wanted to show you this from the top because this looks so good. Oh man, it just drops down and you just have this huge, beautiful area down here. And this is why I love the builder so much, is it just allows you to quickly make things like this. There's no way I would have mined this out by hand. Now, you know what? I am super, super satisfied with this. There is a ton of working space here. We have so much space to just place things in and to work from. It's going to make progressing through this pack a lot easier. And I cannot wait to get machines up and running over here to get things automated so that way we can explore more and do more things. And there are a ton of mods in here that really do promote exploring. Ones we haven't even touched yet, including magic mods, right? There's a ton of magic mods that give you a ton of custom things so long as you explore and find their structures. Cannot wait to do that. So if you can't wait either, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already and ring that beautiful notification bell and give this video a huge thumbs up if you haven't already. And guys, well, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to, if I can spell things right, Loki. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. I also got all of the supporter signs back up from all the previous episodes. And things are looking good. So be sure to join the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect, and join the amazing crew today. Thank you guys so very much. I hope to see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.